On today's episode, we're taking a look at the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Does the larger size and updated tech make this a must-buy three-row? And can it conquer our new test hill? That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. This is the all-new supersized 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. The L means that it has 14 inches of extra length in the back, making room for more kids and cargo than the standard Grand Cherokee. It also has a wheelbase that's almost 7 inches longer. But the size increase isn't the only reason to consider the Grand Cherokee L in 2021. This model has also been updated inside and out, featuring new looks and upgraded tech that you just won't find on a standard-size Grand Cherokee until 2022. The model we're testing today is the Overland 4x4 edition, with the off-road and luxury packages. It arrived with upgraded audio, air suspension, a night vision camera system, 18-inch wheels wrapped in trail-ready tires, underbody protection, and several other upgrades. Prices you see it here, $63,915 US, including destination. Under the hood is the lesser of two engine options. This is a 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 that produces 293 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. A 357 horsepower Hemi V8 is also available. The V6 is connected to the QuadraDrive 2 four-wheel drive system. This is the most advanced system available on the Grand Cherokee L. It features a 2-speed active transfer case that distributes power front to back as necessary, in addition to proactively distributing power side to side. The Select Terrain system gives the driver control over vehicle setup with a simple flip of a switch, but we'll get more into that a bit later. EPA rates economy of the setup at 18 miles to the gallon in the city and 25 on the highway. Jeep says that you can get up to 500 miles on a single tank of fuel. The Overland trim comes standard with 20-inch wheels. Add the off-road group to get these much more appropriate 18s with these Primacy XC trail-rated tires, in addition to underbody protection, a 230mm rear axle, and an electronic LSD. This upgrade also earns this Jeep Cherokee L the coveted trail-rated badge. Quadralift air suspension is standard on this trim. This features not just active damping, but it also adjusts ride height from 8.3 inches of ground clearance for daily duties all the way up to 10.9 inches to tackle more extreme conditions. Fully raised, this gives the Overland Edition a 30.1 degree approach, 22.6 degree breakover, and 23.6 degree departure angles. Of course, the air suspension also lowers to make ingress-egress easy. As equipped with the V6, this model can tow up to 6,200 pounds. Open the power gate to reveal a useful small space behind the third row. Fold this row down with a push of a button for up to 46.9 cubic feet of storage. With all the rows folded flat, you get a maximum of 84.6 cubic feet total capacity. Of course, the third row does return upright when you need it with another push of a button. In the back, you'll also find a subwoofer. Some extra space and tools are under the floor. A mismatched all-season spare is mounted on the underside. Okay, in the second row here we have very stiff captain's chairs, but they do have an arm to pull down and they are upholstered in very nice leather, but they are really stiff and they don't support very well either. My lower back is supported, but like on my lower part here, it's just like sitting on a board. That's not nice. Down here, I do have lots of places where I can put my phone, cups. I have AC power, multiple USB sockets, and my own dual zone climate for just the second row. Additionally, there are 3 stages of heat for these seats. It's kind of weird that if I hit that button too quickly, it doesn't register. I have to be very intentional about my button pushes. It's kind of annoying. Because this is optioned with the Macintosh sound system, we have not 1 speaker in the door, but 2. Man, actually, there's a lot of speakers here. We got 1 back there, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. I'm sure there's a couple more here somewhere. Anyway, Panorama sunroof's really nice. Okay, let's do that. And this is where it's important that you have the L. The third row is, well, it's rather snug, but it is doable for an adult. My head's not hitting the ceiling. I have a cup holder and I get 2 USB sockets, which are pretty good. Again, very hard surface. In spite of the nice leather, it's just the cushioning is practically non-existent. Yeah, I mean, I have a good view. I'm well above everyone else, which is kind of nice. But is that enough? Probably just keep kids back here. Okay, this is really nice. The leather, the wood trim, the paddle shifters on top, and radio controls on the bottom, because they always put radio controls in these Jeeps. Contrast stitching, Macintosh tweeters, or speakers, or I'm not a sound guy, but there's a speaker thing up there. I'm calling it a tweeter. Yeah, this is really, really pretty. I even like how this display is kind of floating on the wood here, and they've really contoured it in. The center console is striking, but it also has one thing that is a huge problem, and that is lacquer black finish. This piano black is super scratchable. I can see it already has a number of scratches throughout, even from somebody just turning this dial. Little tiny dust particles have scratched around the dial. Not okay. There's no need for this. We should know better by now. Seat comfort is actually a huge thing, and I'm already thinking that these are a little on the firm side, though they do get bonus points for having built-in massage units. That is really nice. I really appreciate that. Instead of dials up on my gauge cluster, I get a large configurable screen. Now this lets me modify the layout completely. I can have an audio as the primary information, off-road, navigation, trip info, vehicle info, or just have it as a big speedo. Lots of options here. I do think that the layout could use space better. It seems like there's a lot of empty space. And that's not just to give my eyes a place to rest. It's just unused space. I just feel like they could have done a better job with this. But there's so much stuff packed into this. I got to give them credit for that. I mean, the off-road display itself is very cool. Also, if I toggle left and right here on the main display, I actually get a night vision option. The screen up here is one of the nicest looking screens I've ever seen. Moving from left to right, we have climate control with seat warmers, seat coolers, and yeah, this also has seat massagers. There's a button over here that triggers the seat massage options, which I can pick, a number of different programs and intensities, of course. Very nice. That is both in the driver and passenger side. Moving along up here, we have a heated steering wheel as an option there as well. Let's go ahead and turn that seat heat down. Oh, it just doesn't register all the time. The next button over here is, of course, the avatar. Somebody has picked a tiger, but we can pick any avatar we want. I'll be a Yeti or Sasquatch as we get around in these parts. Okay, it didn't take it. Edit avatar, Sasquatch, save. See, the design here, it looks really nice, but there's little things like the save button. Let's see, edit avatar. Why is it this tiny little button in the bottom right? That is hard to see. For something that is driver-centric, I expect it to be bigger, bolder, and simpler to navigate without me having to spend time looking at the interface. Moving on, up here we have screens. Now I can actually look at a top-down view of the trunk. Is that nuts? I mean, one kid's bugging another kid. I can see all the kids back there. What else do we have here? We have a 360 view. I have a couple doors open, so it's not showing me the whole thing. But this does have tracing lines, and it even has a top-down view for aligning the tow hitch. And I can also switch to the front with tire tracks. Off-road, that is a very useful feature. On the home display, it keeps things pretty simple. We have a navigation, music, and then down here I can activate one of the like CarPlay, for example. I've already connected it with Wi-Fi, so I just click on that and boom, we get maps, or we get the menu. And it looks gorgeous here. The color, the resolution, this is such a nice display. I am simply in love with it. We do have XM satellite radio as an option, as well as terrestrial, FM, and AM. Using this system is a pretty good one. I can either type in a direct number
Let's go to 34. Go. See, again, the go should be highlighted. I shouldn't have to like think about that. So when I hit channel, then it gives me a browser and I can just flick through all the different options. Man, really, a Dave Matthews Band? Does anybody need that much Dave Matthews? I mean, hair bands, I understand that channel, but Dave Matthews? Hard pass. Okay, moving left to right, we then have comfort, which does duplicate a lot of the buttons down here, but it gives us a more visual look at it, and I can control where the air is flowing very easily, as well as the climate for both driver and passenger up here. Let's try a voice search, see how well this does. Find Victor's Celtic Coffee.
Microsoft West Campus, Redmond, Washington.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people from West Campus probably go there, but that's not what I'm looking for. Find the nearest Victor's Coffee.
Victor's Coffee. Victor's Celtic Coffee Company.
There we go. We hit navigate and boom, it takes us right there and gives us a few different options. This is actually really nice. Uconnect has really grown up to be a really nice system. Say I prefer to use Apple Maps because it integrates with my Apple Watch. Let's go ahead and click on Maps and we'll do search, audio.
Where would you like to go?
Find Victor's Coffee.
Getting directions to Victor's Celtic Coffee and Roasters.
And boom, there we go. Now, if you do go to Victor's, make sure to get a Java Jane if you want something sweet. It's actually really good. It has just a little caramel in it. So yummy. But I digress. Let's move on. To the right here, we then have vehicle. This handles all the different setup options for this vehicle. And this gives me my off-road pages. So here I can look at vehicle dynamics, everything from steering angle to transfer case to accessories for while on the road, especially good for long overland trips where we need to keep an eye on everything in tricky conditions. Pitch and roll, and then there's also select terrain. Now in select terrain, once I pick one of these options, we can see there's snow, sand, and rock. Rock wants me to do 4 low, so I'm gonna hold this button down and it's gonna shift me. Oh, I gotta put the transmission into neutral. It may have push buttons, but it still has some physical limitations. Okay, can I put that 4 low? I heard it click. I can then go to rock. Whoa. Okay, put it in park. It's also raising the vehicle up now because, of course, it's in rock mode and we have to have as much ground clearance as possible. What else do we have? Suspension. I can see that I'm on maximum height right now. Let's go and put this back down into auto and we should lower it up. I'm going to take 4-wheel drive low off. Man, there's something to be said for a physical lever, you know? Okay, so we're now back in 4 high. Let's lower this system. It cannot be lowered because the doors are open. They're afraid that the doors will land on a rock if they're open, so I guess we're stuck here now. And then of course we have a forward-facing camera in this setting as well. So lots of options. There are of course apps. I'm not a big fan of in-car apps. They're usually not as good as other things, but this one does have a few things going for it, specifically the ambient color setting. This is where you set your lights. Now, most vehicles set the light color in settings. This one does it under apps. I'm not sure why, but you can independently control the upper and lower lights, which leads to some nice color combinations. If you're a big, hot dog fan, there you go, red and yellow. I think blue and yellow, blue and dark blue. There we go. That's a nice thing. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is active safety. Now, this has a night vision camera. We also have a digital rear view camera here. We also have collision mitigation, adaptive cruise control, lane detection, rear cross traffic alerts, blind spot warning, parking sonars, as well as auto park. So for the money, you're getting a lot of vehicle. Now let's do what this thing was really intended for and go for a drive. guess it's good enough. Now there are 2 engine options for this vehicle. You can either get the V6 that we have here, or you can get a V8. Clearly the V8 would be the optimal choice if you're going to do like serious towing, or you just want something that's more powerful. This is okay for around town though, and for freeway jaunts, and of course it also gets better fuel economy, which is really important to some buyers. So on the interior here, there's a lot of good stuff going on. It's beautiful, the displays are really nice, the seats look great, but then when you really get down to it and like start living with this thing every day, the seats are too firm. The head unit doesn't respond to touch as often as I would like, and quite often menu options aren't really easy to see. It's just like a little text box in the corner without any kind of highlighting. I don't know, is that text or am I supposed to click on that? It's a problem that I've been seeing with this head unit. And then also sometimes like trying to lock the outside of the vehicle, I put my hand over the sensor, it just doesn't respond. I just wish it was a little bit more consistent in its responses, both to the touchscreen and to the physical inputs with buttons and switches throughout the vehicle. Sometimes you have to hit them a couple times, sometimes you have to be really intentional with your presses, and that's not cool. Okay, let's look at on the freeway here. This is a very quiet rig, and I'm saying it's quiet even though it's a little loud right here because this is a very loud stretch of freeway, and that's why I like driving on this one for freeway driving comparisons, is that this is about as loud as you're going to get on a freeway. The surface, for whatever reason, is just that way here. Let's also look at the adaptive cruise control, because this comes with collision mitigation, blind spot warnings, of course, rear cross traffic alerts, and it has adaptive cruise control. Now it does have lane detection. Let me go ahead and set this. And now we're going to do the autopilot drive, which this does have. And you can tell that it's on because the display highlights green, and now it is driving for me. It only does it for a short bit, but it does a really good job of staying centered, keeping the vehicle true. Yeah, this is right up there with the best of them. I'm really glad to see this on a product from Stellantis. I haven't seen a lot of Stellantis products with good lane centering, but this one is excellent, and I like all that visual feedback I'm getting. I still feel like they could use this space on this display a little bit better. It's a little bit on the sparse side as far as information goes, but it's okay. And of course, I can also switch over to other views if I want those. I still can tell this is auto steering because of the icon in the bottom right. Like if I want to do night vision, there we go, night vision. We are going to head to our test site in Eastern Washington here in just a little bit. The roads are in, and today we need to actually mess up the roads before we take this vehicle out on it. So we have some work to do, but then later we're going to do a full off-road review of this vehicle on our new test roads as that are being developed. So that'll be fun. But first, let's jump off onto a side road and see how well this thing deals with forest roads. We have all sorts of different drive controls here. We have rock, sand, mud, snow, auto, and sport. I'm going to put it into sport mode. And with that, it immediately lowers the vehicle just slightly because this is equipped with the optional air suspension, which gives, I believe it's 4.2 inches of extra clearance when you need it. Also, it hunkers down a little bit to give you better aerodynamics when you're driving. So the standard 8-speed automatic transmission is okay. I mean, you can tell that it makes some noise. There are paddle shifters. They're a little bit on the small side because all these products have the push buttons for the radio controls, and so they kind of push the paddle just above that. But if I want to roam my own, that is an option. And it's relatively responsive. Yeah, this is pretty good. So this is a large 3-row off-road capable SUV. This is not pretending to be any kind of a sports car. Oh, my screen just glitched again. I do get some weird glitches with this thing. Like sometimes it goes black, sometimes my phone doesn't want to connect. It does use wireless CarPlay, but I'm finding it to be a little on the buggy side. So when we're just tooling around here, it is primarily in rear-wheel drive. However, when it needs extra traction, it will automatically switch into 4-wheel drive. It's transparent to the driver. If we want to force a low range, we can do that. But outside of that, it's all pretty much decides for itself. We're going to put the transmission in drive. We're going to keep the drive mode in sport, and we're going to try a 0 to 60 now and see how this goes. Stopping completely. There's nothing else really to do here. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it takes a moment for it to kick in, but it really punches it immediately. And 50, it's slowing down up here, and 60. 8.72 seconds. I mean, it's a big rig, and it has a V6. So I think that's actually not bad. With that information under our belts, let's go ahead and head out to our off-road test site and see how this does. Because there are a lot of 3-row crossovers that you can buy, but not many are fully rated for off-road. This one is, because it has a limited slip differential in the back with electronic actuation. It also has a 4-wheel drive low setting, and of course, it has air suspension to give us up to 4.2 inches of extra clearance. But we'll see in a little bit.
This is our all-new test facility. Here we have a series of roads that we built to emulate challenges drivers may encounter while heading into the wild. Drive loops range from easy to hard, with specific elements to stress all-wheel and 4-wheel drive systems. Of course, we'll have a complete video introducing the site once all the roads are ready. Today, we just finished building one of the hard routes. We call it the Sidewinder. This will be the first vehicle to have a go on it. This particular road features logs and ruts, in addition to a very steep climb of up to a 42% grade, which can push any SUV to the limit. So it will be particularly interesting to see how this family-focused, extended-length, near-luxury vehicle can handle it. To prepare for the course, I raised the air suspension to the maximum ride height.
Okay, so the first feature we're going to experience here is a crosscut. I definitely need to have my forward-facing camera because this is a little tight. And then immediately after the crosscut, we can see the crosscut there. We can also see Nick, our new camera op. So I'm just going to, oh, you know what? Let's switch into rock mode. Now what that will do is it should lock that center transfer case. Oh, I have to put it in neutral. Did not lock the center transfer case. I am kind of curious. Oh, I'm not in low. I manually have to go into low. Okay, now I'm going to put it into neutral. I'm a little confused by these push buttons. I kind of like the levers, you know? Okay, now that I'm in 4 low, it has locked the center transfer case. However, it does show that the rear axle locker is still unlocked. And I see no means of manually locking that. I think it does it automatically. We'll find out, I guess. Okay, and drive. So now that I have 4 low engaged, I have a proper crawl gear. I'm lifting a wheel probably. Let's look at the forward-facing camera so we can see our line. We're right in that crosscut. Lifting up. And now the back wheel should go in. We should be able to lift a wheel there. And now the logs. Okay, now I want to position this last wheel so that I'm not going to catch the corner of the tire. Whoa. Come on, you got it, you got it. I'm curious, did it lock that rear? No, it's still, oh, it's locking and unlocking automatically. That's interesting. Let's put that display back on, forward-facing camera. Now if I want, okay, there we go. Ah. That was exciting.
Here you can better see how the rear electronic differential works in the real world. As the wheels spin at different rates, the E-diff locks, which then causes both wheels to spin like they're on a single axle. This helps it overcome the challenging obstacle.
This next feature is a really steep climb. We're at what, 17 degrees right now? My wheel's going into a ditch. My transfer case is locked and my rear axle is locking and unlocking as necessary. The tires that this comes with are Primacy XCs, which are a mild trail tire, and they're on 18-inch wheels. Now, if you get a different trim level with this vehicle, you will get like 20s or 21s. So the Overland is definitely the one for roads like this. Although something more aggressive would always be better. We're at 22 degrees as we're about to break over. I'm going wide because this is such a big vehicle. I think I need a little momentum here. Actually, I need the trail camera is what I need because I don't want to clip my front nose. Forward-facing camera. Okay, let's make sure we don't clip that dirt and drive. And then my passenger side wheel, it's not making it. Let's get a little more momentum here. My passenger side wheel is going to go into a ditch on purpose. Come on, you got it. For a vehicle with over 120-inch wheelbase, that is phenomenal. And it's really doable because of the air suspension. That really makes it possible. Okay, this portion is really steep, but at least it's mostly flat. There's no holes. So here we're at 20 degrees, 22 degrees, 23 degrees. Yeah, this is steep. It's kind of hard to see just how steep this is from the outside of the vehicle, but trust me, this is steeper than any mountain road you will probably ever go on. Okay, and it was successful. Yes, victorious. There is one more feature to discuss, and that is the fact that this model actually has hill descent control. Let's show how that works. There's a button down here, and I basically just press it. Right now I'm in auto drive mode, and then I can use the paddles to adjust speed. Take my foot off the gas and brake, and now I'm creeping along at 2 miles per hour. I'm not sure why 3 is at 2 miles per hour. I assume 1 is at half mile per hour, perhaps. No, 1 is at 1 mile per hour. I guess that's just the maximum speed. And you can just crawl down really easy. This is great for if you're going down a really steep hill, like this one we're on right now, or if there's snow, you know.
The new Grand Cherokee L 4x4 Overland with the off-road package is a great option for families that need more space, but also want more capability than what you would find in a normal 3-row crossover. But I did run into some concerning behavior in my week with this vehicle. Wireless Apple CarPlay failed numerous times, locking me out of both wired and wireless CarPlay. The central touchscreen was stuck at full brightness at night, even in auto mode. And then the buttons just failed to see some of my inputs, or they behaved really sluggishly. But even considering these issues, there is a lot to like here. If they can get the software sorted, the Grand Cherokee L Overland will be a great choice for outdoor enthusiasts that want to experience the world in a near-luxury vehicle. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Do you think this new Jeep is the best choice in 3-row SUVs? If not, what else would you get? Post a comment below. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. It's viewers like you that make this new test site possible, and we have a lot more coming up that you won't want to miss.